Hi, readers. Welcome to Novels with Nat. In this video, I want to talk about my most anticipated thriller releases for the rest of 2025. There are a lot of thriller books coming out the rest of this year that I'm very excited about, books by authors that I really enjoy. And so I just compiled a list of the ones I'm most excited for, and I thought today we could chat about them and go through them and sort of plan out the rest of the year in terms of new releases. So let's get to it. Okay, so first up, I'll go through the thriller books that are coming out in May that I'm excited about. The first one we have is called One in Four by Lucinda Berry. Lucinda Berry is an author that I have enjoyed in the past. She writes kind of fast-paced, popcorn type thrillers, often with like a psychological lens to them. But this one in particular sounds really interesting to me. It says, when a reality show about a former child star overcoming addiction culminates in murder, their therapist must take a closer look into their lives and her own. So, I mean, I'm a big fan of reality TV. So the premise of this one really caught my eye, and I'm looking forward to it. It's coming out pretty soon. And then on the 20th of May, we're getting a new book from Sarah Pinborough called We Live Here Now. I'm super excited for this one. I love Sarah Pinborough's book Behind Her Eyes. It's one of my favorite thrillers of all time. Okay, so it seems like in this one we have like a creepy house type thriller, which I really enjoy. Reminds me kind of the book We Used to Live Here that came out last year that was really popular. In this book, we're following Emily and her husband who move into a new home. Old boards creak at night, fires extinguish, and books fall from the shelves, all of it stemming from the terrible presence she feels in the third floor room. But these things happen only when Emily is alone. So, are they happening at all? Okay, it looks like we're getting an unreliable narrator with this one. That tends to be hit or miss for me, but it depends how it's done. So, we'll see. Um, Yeah, as bizarre events tend to pile up and her marriage starts to crumble, Emily becomes obsessed with discovering the truth about the lodge. But just as the house has secrets, so do Emily and her husband. Okay, that sounds pretty good. It sounds like a bit of domestic thriller mixed with haunted house gothic thriller. This one I'm really excited for. Okay, and then on May 6th, we're getting yet another Frida McFadden book. She turns them out so quickly, but I always end up reading them fairly shortly after they're released. I would say that they're often 2 to 3 stars for me, but they are quick reads, they're palate cleansers, popcorn thrillers. I generally do have a good time reading them. This one is called The Tenant. Blake Porter is riding high until he's not. Fired abruptly from his job as a VP of marketing and unable to make the mortgage payments on the new brownstone that he shares with his fiancée, he's desperate to make ends meet. Enter Whitney, beautiful, charming, down to earth, and looking for a room to rent. She's exactly what Blake is looking for, or is she? Because something isn't quite right. Neighbors start treating Blake differently. The smell of decay permeates his home, and no matter how hard he scrubs, strange noises jar him awake in the middle of the night. And soon Blake fears someone knows his darkest secrets. Okay, so it sounds like a pretty standard Frida McFadden, but I'm gonna check it out and we'll see. Now we'll go into the books that are coming out in June. And on June 17th, we're getting a new book by Liv Constantine. This is an author duo who wrote The Last Mrs. Parrish, one of my favorite thrillers of all time. So I'm super excited to check out this one. In this one, we're following a woman named Annabelle who has a devoted husband, 2 wonderful daughters, and a career she loves. So why is she suddenly plagued by disturbing dreams of a future where she hates her husband and her daughter's lives are at risk? At first, she chalks the dreams up to an overactive imagination, but when details from her dreams that she couldn't possibly have predicted begin to materialize, she realizes these aren't just dreams, but rather premonitions of a terrifying future. They all point to a singular choice, an unknown moment that holds Annabelle's life in the balance. Then Annabelle has a dream that her daughter Scarlet is in immediate danger. Someone wants Scarlet dead, and Annabelle has no idea who or why. Suddenly, every choice she makes is fraught with peril, with no inkling of which move could bring this terrifying vision to life. As her present life starts to collide with the future in her dreams, she wrestles with how much control she really has over her destiny and whether or not she can change what is meant to be. That sounds interesting. I don't think it's a premise that I've necessarily read before, dreams that start coming true. So that one sounds intriguing. I'm kind of getting bored of the same old thriller tropes over and over. So whenever I see something new, I'm always gravitated towards it. So we'll see how this one goes. I'm really excited for it. So, and now on the 10th of June, a new S.A. Cosby book is coming out. This one is called King of Ashes. I love S.A. Cosby. I've read so far all of his books except for his most recent one I still have to get to, All the Sinners Bleed. But from the three that I've read, Razorblade Tears is an all-time favorite for me. I absolutely loved it. He tends to write crime fiction thrillers, so I'm assuming this one is the same. Yeah, crime, mystery, thriller. Yeah. So this one should be really good. I love his writing style. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Stephen King, some of his crime books, but this one is going to be on my radar for sure. And then on June 19th, there is another book coming out by Kia Abdullah. It's called What Happens in the Dark. She tends to write courtroom thrillers, and I believe this one, yep, is the same. Um, It says Lily and Sappho were best friends growing up. Now Lily is the nation's favorite breakfast TV presenter, and Sappho, once renowned journalist, is reeling from a recent fall from grace. When news breaks about suspicious bruises on Lily's body, Sappho attempts to rekindle their old friendship, but Lily claims the bruises are nothing to worry about. And then one night, the police are called to Lily's home. Lily is strangely calm. A body lies dead at her feet. Lily pleads not guilty and then says nothing more. Driven by her desire to give a voice to all victims, Safa begins her own investigation into what happened that night. But Safa is not prepared for what her quest to justice will uncover. Okay, this is kind of giving me like the silent patient vibes. Someone kills someone and then does not speak after that. So, yeah, I'm excited for it. Sounds good to me. And then on June 2nd, we have a short story coming out by Sally Hepworth. I've read all of her books so far, and I really enjoy her as an author, so I'm excited to check this one out. When a restaurateur and serial philanderer turns up cold stone dead, his trio of wives falls under suspicion in a sharp-witted and suspenseful short story. Yeah, I'll definitely check this one out. And then on June 24th, we have Lisa Jewell's next book. It's called Don't Let Him In. I really enjoy Lisa Jewell. She tends to write kind of family drama, thrillers, really focus on relationships, really character driven. I really tend to enjoy them. So all I know about this book is it's about three women who are somehow connected to a man and they wish they had heeded a warning, don't let him in. Sounds like a thriller. Honestly, I'll read any Lisa Jewell that comes out. I don't even often look at the premise. I just kind of see Lisa Jewell, I'll read it. So moving along. And then another Frida McFadden. This one's a short story coming out on June 1st. It's called Death Row. Okay, in this one, we're following a woman who is on death row for murdering her husband. And then one day in the visiting area, she sees a recognizable stranger she's certain is her husband. It turns out the man she's been convicted of killing may not be dead after all. But the days tick away towards Talia's execution. What will it take for her to be believed? Okay, I'll check it out. It's a short story, so it's not too much of a time commitment. And then on the 24th of June, we have another book called The Compound. This one, the premise says you wake up in a compound in the middle of the desert along with nine other women. All of you are young, all beautiful, all keen to escape the grinding poverty, political unrest, and environmental catastrophe of the outside world. You realize that cameras are tracking your every move, broadcasting to millions of reality TV fans. Soon, 10 men will arrive on foot if they survive the journey. What will you have to do to win, and what happens to the losers? It says Lord of the Flies meets Love Island. In this explosive, addictive debut novel, as bingeable as the best reality TV with dark undercurrents of literary dystopia. That sounds so unique. I'm super excited. This one also has that reality TV theme. I'm wondering if that's going to be a new trend in the thriller genre as a trope. We'll see. This one, I'm definitely going to give it a shot. Looks really good. And then on June 10th, we've got Riley Sager's next book, which I'm super excited for. I really like Riley Sager's writing. Some of his books I really didn't enjoy, though. I would say Survive the Night was a 1 star for me, but Lock Every Door was a 5 star. So Riley Sager is definitely a bit of a hit or miss for me, but I always read his books when they come out. It says in 1942, 6 people destroyed Anna's family. 12 years later, she's ready for retribution. Under false pretenses, Anna has lured those responsible for her family's downfall onto a luxury train. Her goal, to confront the people who've wronged her, get them to confess their crimes, and deliver them into the hands of authorities waiting at the end of the line. But Anna's plan is quickly derailed by the murder of one of the passengers. As the train barrels through the night, it becomes clear that someone else on board is enacting their own form of revenge and that they won't stop until everyone else is dead. Okay, so this one looks like a sort of locked room type mystery or locked train type mystery. Um, I'm excited for it. The premise sounds really good. It's kind of a mix of like locked room and then there were none meets like family drama. Now on to the books coming out in July. Next, we have the new Sherry Lapina book. It's called She Didn't See It Coming. Sherry Lapina is an author that has been very hit or miss for me. I've read probably about 4 of her books, The Couple Next Door being my favorite. The rest were just kind of like, okay. I think I gave them 3 stars, maybe 2 stars, but I will give it another shot. This one just seems like a pretty basic missing person thriller. So I'll try it, but if I'm not super impressed, I'm not sure if I will continue picking up Sherry Lapina. Okay, and then on the 22nd of July, we're getting another Holly Jackson book. This one is called Not Quite Dead Yet. In this book, we're following a woman who is attacked and suffers a catastrophic brain injury. The doctors are certain that within a week, the injury will trigger a deadly aneurysm. And so I believe within the span of a week, she is working with her childhood friend to solve her own murder. Sounds interesting. I really enjoy Holly Jackson. Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy was outstanding. I also enjoyed Five Survive, and I do have her most recent release, the reappearance of Rachel Price, on my TBR. I haven't quite gotten to it yet, though. Okay, and then on July 8th, we have a sequel to Ruth Ware's The Woman in Cabin 10, and it's called The Woman in Suite 11. I did read The Woman in Cabin 10. It was okay. I think I gave it 3 stars. So I wasn't necessarily thinking about picking this one up, but the premise does sound good to me, so I think I am gonna give it a shot. In this one, we're following the main character from the first book. Her name is Lo, and it says, when the invitation to attend a press opening of a luxury Swiss hotel owned by a reclusive billionaire, Marcus, arrives, it's like the answer to her prayer. 3 years after the birth of her youngest child, Lo is ready to reestablish her journalism career. The chateau on the shores is everything Lo has ever dreamed of, and she hopes she can snag an interview with Marcus. Unfortunately, he proves to be more difficult to pin down than his reputation suggests. When Lo gets a late night call asking her to come home to Marcus's hotel room, she agrees despite her own misgivings. She's greeted, however, by a woman claiming to be Marcus's mistress and in life or death jeopardy. What follows is a thrilling cat and mouse pursuit across Europe. I tend to like cat or mouse type books. So the premise was interesting enough to me to decide to continue. Okay, now we'll talk about the books in August. We have another book by Sarah Pekkanen. She sometimes writes with another author, Greer Hendricks, and then she sometimes has been publishing books on her own. So this one is just by her. It's called The Locked Ward. I believe this is a thriller that takes place in a psychiatric institution. So that does sound interesting. I will say that I did read Frida McFadden's book of a similar premise. It was called Ward D, I believe. And that one I absolutely hated. So we'll see how this one goes. The premise intrigues me. I just hope it's executed much better than Frida McFadden's. Then on the 26th of August, there is a book called Forget Me Not by Stacey Willingham. She is the author of A Flicker in the Dark, was her debut novel. She also wrote All the Dangerous Things and Only If You're Lucky. I have read all three of them. I really enjoyed A Flicker in the Dark, but her second two books I didn't like as much. And so I think, I tend to give authors three books. If by three consecutive books, if I'm still not enjoying it, I don't typically pick them up anymore. So this one might be a bit of a last chance situation with this author, but I'm gonna try it. And on the 26th of August, we have a book called The Break-In by Catherine Faulkner. She's the author of The Other Mothers and Greenwich Park, both of which I really enjoyed. Her books are really intricate. I find they have a lot of details and are really well thought out and well plotted. So I do enjoy that about this author. This one says, after killing an intruder in self-defense, a wealthy London mother must unravel a terrifying mystery filled with twists and turns. Alice, a professional mother of one, is hosting a playdate with friends at her upscale London home when a disturbed man breaks in. With her child in the next room, Alex panics and kills him, an act later ruled to have been in self-defense. Everyone tries to encourage Alice to move on with her life, but with strange comments appearing online, a mysterious phone call telling her it's not as it seems, and her husband, nanny, and friends behaving strangely, Alice finds herself drawn to the mystery of who her intruder really was. As she digs deeper, she discovers a trail of dark secrets that spiral closer to home than she could ever have imagined. That sounds really good to me. It sounds like a very juicy domestic thriller type mystery, which I really enjoy. I'm definitely going to be picking this one up. Okay, and then last but not least, on August 12th, we have a new book by Samantha Downing. This one is called Too Old for This. This one sounds really good. It's a retired serial killer's quiet life is upended by an unexpected visit. To protect her secrets, there's only one option left. What's another murder? Lottie Jones thought her crimes were behind her. Decades earlier, she changed her identity and tucked herself away in a small town. Her most exciting nights are her weekly bingo games at the local church and gossiping with her friends. When an investigative journalist shows up on her doorstep asking questions about Lottie's past and specifically her involvement with numerous unsolved cases, well, Lottie just can't have that. But getting away with murder is hard enough when you're young. And when Lottie receives another annoying knock at the door, she realizes this crime might just be the death of her. So this seems like we're getting like an elderly, retired serial killer who's a female. I'm 100% going to be reading this. It sounds really fun. Okay, that's it for today's video. Let me know in the comments below if there are any other thriller books coming out this year that you're excited about, that you think I should keep my eye out for. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye.